on, everybody? It's Aurora coming at you with a brand new video, and while I was at work, we got some new stuff revealed tonight, and that is the P.U.N.K support coming out of, I believe it's the quarter century Trinity box or something, it's called that in the OCG. It's what the Orcus support that we discussed came out of, and also we're getting Dragon Maids, I think is the last one, so we should see that sometime soon within the next coming weeks. But I've been really excited for this one in particular because I really like P.U.N.K as an engine, kind of like flopped as like a separate deck on its own. It's mostly just a really solid engine at getting other decks going, so I'm hoping that these two cards give it a little bit more of its own identity and ability to play without having to play like supplementary engines, because on its own it's not super great. It's usually played with like the Therian stuff, and it was good with like Hulk and things like that. I've played it in a lot of different decks. It's good in like Gold Pride, Goblin, it's good with Plunder Patrol, believe it or not. I'll have that mentioned in my Sleeper Sunday coming up. But so many different things, but I'm hoping that this kind of helps it function a little bit more on its own. Okay, after I fix my webcam completely dying on me for no reason, let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off, we have No P.U.N.K Rising Scale. Is a level 8 Water Sea Serpent with 2500 attack and defense. You can only use each effect once per turn. You can banish one other P.U.N.K card from your hand or graveyard to special this card from your hand. If it's special summoned, you can pay 600 life points, take one P.U.N.K monster from your deck or graveyard, except a level 8 monster, and either add it to your hand or special summon it. And when a monster opponent controls with 2500 or more attack activates its effect, quick effect, you can change it to face down defense position. Seems like a pretty damn solid card, very good stats. It's a level 8 that you can get out basically for free. It's kind of like those Castora monsters, like Tealman's Castora and Scareclaw Castora, that can banish something from hand or grave to special it. But immediately on summon, it gives you access to the rest of your engine, while also giving you an additional body, and from the looks of it, they're getting a new Xyz monster of all things, so that actually gives them Lynx fusions, or sorry, not Lynx, Xyz fusions and synchros, so that's pretty interesting. So that'll be really good for swarming for the new Xyz monster, it looks like, as well as helping you get access to your Jammin or any of the other P.U.N.Ks that you might need at the moment. And if you do decide to keep it on board, it is a pretty damn solid disruption. It doesn't work on Link monsters, of course, but this can be really good against a lot of different decks. Speaking of Castora, for example, this is really good if they use Unicorn, because you can just immediately book it, which is pretty funny. And the other new card is P.U.N.K Jam Fever, which is an Xyz, even though it sounds like the name of a spell. It is a rank 8 light Xyz with 2800 attack and 600 defense. It requires 2 level 8 monsters, and it says once per turn you can Xyz summon it by using one P.U.N.K fusion or synchro you control as material, and you can only use the effects of this card's name once per turn. You can pay 600 life points and attach a material from this card, draw one card, and when the monster's effect is activated and you have a level 3 psychic monster in your graveyard, quick effect, you can attach a material from this card to negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. So I was actually half right about the new level 8 monster. While it does technically make it easier to summon this, you don't even really have to go into the normal way of Xyz summoning. You can just use your Dragon Drive, or I guess technically like Amazing Dragon or Rising card, but most likely Dragon Drive, to make this instead. You just don't get that additional material. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of like a pick and choose, like if you want to get like multiple negates, one for your turn, one for your opponent's turn, and then like something like that. I mean, I guess it does stop Nibiru, which is actually really good. That's one of the big problems the deck had, was like playing against Nibiru, so that's really helpful. Or if you just want the extra material, you can also use it for the Detach to Draw card, which is also helpful. But you already kind of have that with like your field spell, so I guess it's kind of up to you whether or not you want to hard make this, or if you want to make it with like in I don't keep wanting to say like Xyz or Link, your fusion or synchro monster. So you have different options there. It's also got very good stats, and the effects in general are just really good. I mean, you just pay more life points and get to draw a card, so that'll help not only fuel your hand, but also fuel something like Executive and Punisher. And then it's also just pretty easy to make, I mean, with like Therians as well. There's a bunch of different rank 8 engines you can use to help access this if you don't want to use your P.U.N.K cards, like Horus, for example. I know a lot of people actually that play like a Horus P.U.N.K build. And then the second effect, again, Monster Negate and Destruction. Bit generic, but it is always really solid, and it especially will help against cards like Nibiru. So, what do I think about this support overall? I still don't think it'll make P.U.N.K like a solo viable deck still. I still think you'd rather play it like as an engine, or you'd rather play like a bunch of other supplementary engines in it, kind of like in a mashup deck. But I think that they are still very strong. Like you can easily play these in decks like, you know, P.U.N.K Therian, P.U.N.K Horus, anything that wants to use it as an engine. You can make the P.U.N.K engine like a little bit more front and center, at least more than it already was, especially with Rising Scale. I think Rising Scale is an immediate 3 of, because this is just easily a massive consistency booster. It kind of just fills the like checkbox for everything you'd want. And then Jam Fever is also, again, really solid, just a great thing to have in the extra deck for a bunch of different toolbox things, being able to draw extra cards to fuel your hand if you're playing a bunch of more engine that you want to see, again, like Horus cards, Therian cards, stuff like that, or if you're playing a bunch of hand traps if you really do want to play more of like a pure punk build. And then obviously, again, Monster Negate and Destruction is generic, but it is very, very solid. But that's just my opinion. Let me use on the comments below, because that's going to do it for the video. If you liked it, please leave a like, as I'll split this video and the channel into the YouTube recommended, and I was kind of like it, like the rest of my review series. Again, keep an eye out for the Dragon Maid video when that comes out. Then perhaps consider subscribing and turning notifications if you haven't already, because fortunately more than anything else, and it's absolutely free. Also, inspiring directly getting some awesome TG merchandise in the process. Check out Tapio cards link down below. Use code Aurora5 for 5% off your purchase at checkout, and it's support me financially. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon down below to see the benefits you can get from my $1 and $5 tiers. Well, again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Aurora, signing off.